All right, so we're diving deep today into what it takes to nail that insurance agency manager interview. We're looking at some amazing insights from RoleCatcher. They've got this killer career guide and interview guide, and we're also going to see how their AI can be like your secret weapon.
I think it's really interesting how much goes into prepping for these types of interviews these days. It's not just about knowing the insurance industry inside and out. It's also about, understanding the specific company and the role that you're applying for.
Oh, for sure. And I think that's actually a really good place to start, understanding that role. What are the key things someone stepping into an insurance agency manager position actually needs to know?
So it's a lot more than just a fancy title, right? You're the one responsible for the day-to-day operations of the agency, building those client relationships,
Right.
and navigating the ever-changing world of
Right.
insurance.
And this career guide that we have really emphasizes this isn't a walk in the park. It's high reward, but it's also high competition.
Absolutely. And that's where I think RoleCatcher's insights on common interview questions become so valuable. They've identified 10 key questions that you're likely to encounter. And the first one, which always seems to trip people up, is how did you first become interested in the insurance industry?
Okay, so how do we go beyond just saying, oh, it seemed like a stable career?
I think it's all about finding that story, that genuine spark that ignited your passion for insurance. So think about it. Was there a personal experience that maybe highlighted the importance of insurance for you? Maybe you saw firsthand how a good policy could protect someone's business or their family in a time of need.
Yeah, so for example, if I saw how insurance helped a family rebuild after a fire, that would be pretty powerful to share.
Exactly. Or maybe your interest came from a fascination with risk management. You were always drawn to the challenge of assessing and mitigating risk.
That makes sense. And what if someone's path was more career-driven?
Then I think you really focus on what attracted you to this specific field. Was it the opportunity to help people protect the things that matter most to them? Or maybe you were drawn to the entrepreneurial aspects of building and managing an agency.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI can really come into play, right?
Yeah.
Tailoring your answer to the company culture.
Absolutely. Their AI analyzes the job description and the company website to help you craft an answer that truly resonates with their values.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. How do you motivate and manage your team? This one's a big one, especially for a management role.
It really is, and interviewers aren't just looking for generic management principles here. They want to see your personal leadership style in action.
So what are some good examples that we could use here?
So think back on situations where you successfully motivated a team. Maybe you implemented a new incentive program that led to increased sales. Or perhaps you fostered a really collaborative environment where team members felt empowered to share their ideas.
Right, specific examples really paint a picture for the interviewer.
They do, and it's also really important to highlight your approach to handling different personality types and potential conflicts within a team.
Yeah, because not every team is, sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up question here could be, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult employee. So being prepared for that type of question is crucial.
So think back to those challenging situations and how you handled them professionally and effectively.
Absolutely. And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually provide feedback on your answers to these behavioral questions, helping you identify any areas for improvement.
Wow, that's great. Okay, let's tackle the next question. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and changes?
This is all about showcasing your commitment to continuous learning. Don't just say you read industry news, get specific.
So instead of being vague, I could mention publications I follow, like the National Underwriter or Insurance Journal.
Exactly. Or you could talk about attending industry conferences or webinars.
Now, what about certifications? This career guide actually mentions the CPCU and CIC.
Those are both excellent examples. The CPCU stands for Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter. It focuses on, you guessed it, property and casualty insurance. While the CIC, or Certified Insurance Counselor, is broader, covering various aspects of the industry. Both demonstrate a deep understanding of insurance principles and practices.
Okay, so pursuing those designations really shows dedication to professional growth.
It does, and it's a great way to set yourself apart from other candidates.
All right, moving on to a question that can be a bit tricky. How do you handle difficult client situations?
Everyone has a difficult client story. The key is to choose one that really highlights your problem-solving and communication skills.
And probably one with a happy ending, right?
Definitely, you want to show them that you can turn a negative experience into a positive one.
So maybe a time when a client was upset about a claim denial, but you were able to calmly explain the policy details and work with them to find a solution?
That's a perfect example. And don't just focus on the problem itself. Highlight the steps you took to really understand the client's concerns, communicate effectively, and ultimately resolve the issue.
And it's all about staying calm and professional under pressure, which is a key quality for any manager.
Absolutely. And get this, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your tone of voice and body language during video practice sessions, giving you feedback on how you come across in those high-pressure situations.
That's amazing. It's like having a virtual interview coach right there with you.
It really is. Okay, the next question is a classic. How do you prioritize your workload and manage your time effectively?
And this one feels particularly relevant for a role where you're juggling so many responsibilities.
It is, they need to know you can handle the pressure and stay organized. So instead of just saying, I'm good at multitasking, give concrete examples of your time management strategies.
So I could talk about how I use a project management system to track tasks and deadlines, and how I prioritize based on urgency and importance.
Excellent. Or maybe you have a system for delegating tasks effectively, ensuring that everyone on your team is working on what they do best.
Right, delegation is a crucial skill for any manager.
It is, and a potential follow-up question here could be, tell me about a time you had to juggle multiple deadlines and how you managed to meet them all. Be prepared with a specific example that shows your ability to stay organized and focused under pressure.
Got it. So prepare for those follow-up questions by thinking through past experiences and how they demonstrate the skills needed for the job.
Exactly. And if you're ever unsure how to structure your answer, or if you just want feedback on your approach, RoleCatcher's AI is there to help. You can get personalized tips on how to tailor your responses to that specific company and role.
That's incredibly helpful. Okay, let's move on to question number 6. This one is all about building those relationships. How do you build and maintain relationships with clients and partners?
This is all about showcasing those interpersonal skills. The interviewer wants to see that you're not just focused on transactions, you're invested in building strong, lasting relationships.
All right, because in insurance, those relationships are key to building a successful agency. What are some good examples we can use here?
Think about specific actions you take to nurture those relationships. Do you have a system for remembering client birthdays or sending personalized holiday cards? Do you make an effort to regularly check in with clients, even if it's just to see how they're doing?
Those little touches can really make a difference.
They can. And on the partner side, think about how you collaborate with insurance carriers and other professionals. Do you have a reputation for being fair and transparent in your dealings? Do you go the extra mile to help them resolve issues?
Right, strong partner relationships can lead to better rates, faster processing times, and other benefits that ultimately benefit your clients.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up question here could be, tell me about a time you had to repair a damaged relationship with a client or partner. This is a chance to showcase your conflict resolution skills and your ability to build bridges.
Okay, that's great advice. Now, before we jump into the next question, I wanted to touch on something from the career guide that relates to what we're talking about.
Sounds good.
It talks about the importance of networking in the insurance industry. Attending conferences, joining industry associations, even being active on LinkedIn can help you build those crucial connections.
Absolutely. Networking is essential for building relationships, staying informed about industry trends, and even uncovering potential job opportunities.
And it ties in perfectly with what we were just talking about, building and maintaining those relationships. Okay, so let's move on to question number 7, which is all about conflict resolution. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements with team members or colleagues?
You know, conflict is inevitable in any workplace, especially one as dynamic as an insurance agency. They want to see that you can handle these situations diplomatically and effectively.
So how do we approach this question without sounding like we've never had a disagreement in our lives?
Choose a specific example that highlights your ability to mediate conflict and find a win-win solution. Maybe 2 team members had clashing ideas about how to approach a project. How did you facilitate a conversation where they could both share their perspectives and ultimately come to a compromise?
Right. The focus should be on the steps you took to resolve the conflict and maintain a positive working relationship.
Exactly. And this is another question where RoleCatcher's AI can be extremely valuable. They can analyze your answer and provide feedback on whether you're effectively demonstrating the key skills involved in conflict resolution, like empathy, active listening, and communication.
It's like having an expert interviewer providing personalized coaching. Okay, let's move on to question number 8, which is all about performance measurement. How do you measure success in your role as an insurance agency manager?
This one is about showcasing your understanding of key performance indicators, or KPIs, and your ability to set and achieve goals.
So it's not enough to just say, I want to increase sales.
hmm
We need to be specific about the metrics we track and the strategies we use to achieve success.
Precisely, do you focus on client retention rates, new business growth, profitability, employee satisfaction? What are the specific numbers you're looking at, and how do you measure progress towards those goals?
And it's important to tie those metrics back to the overall success of the agency.
Absolutely. Show them that you understand the big picture and how your role contributes to the company's overall objectives.
Okay, let's tackle question number 9. How do you prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion in your agency?
This question has become increasingly important in recent years, and for good reason. Companies are realizing that a diverse and inclusive workplace is not just the right thing to do, it's also good for business.
Right, it leads to better decision-making, greater innovation, and a stronger company culture.
Exactly. So they want to see that you understand the importance of DEI and that you have a plan for promoting it within your agency.
And this is another one where actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely. Have you implemented a diversity recruitment strategy? Have you provided diversity and inclusion training to your team? Have you created a mentorship program to support employees from underrepresented groups?
Those are all great examples, and even if you don't have personal experience with specific initiatives, you can talk about best practices you've learned about, or ideas you would implement if you got the job.
The key is to demonstrate that you're committed to creating a workplace where everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued.
Okay, the final question on RoleCatcher's list is a bit more personal. What is your leadership philosophy?
This is your chance to really let your personality shine through and show them what kind of leader you are.
It's not about reciting a textbook definition of leadership. It's about sharing your core values and beliefs about what makes a good leader.
Exactly. Do you believe in empowering your team? Do you prioritize collaboration and open communication? Do you lead by example?
And it's a good idea to tie your leadership philosophy back to the specific role and company. How would your approach help you succeed as an insurance agency manager at this particular organization?
That's a great point. It shows you've given some thought to how you would fit into their culture and contribute to their success.
Okay, so we've covered all 10 of RoleCatcher's key interview questions. We've talked about how to approach each one, provided some examples, and even discussed potential follow-up questions.
We've also highlighted how RoleCatcher's AI can be a valuable tool for tailoring your answers and getting personalized feedback.
Absolutely. Now, I want to circle back to the career guide for a moment. There's a section that talks about the different career paths within the insurance industry.
Right, because becoming an agency manager isn't the only path. You could specialize in underwriting claims, adjusting risk management, or even move into more technical roles like data analytics or cybersecurity.
It's a diverse field with lots of opportunities for growth and specialization.
Exactly, and the guide emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and professional development. Pursuing certifications, attending industry events, and networking with other professionals can help you stay ahead of the curve and position yourself for advancement.
It's all about investing in your career and constantly seeking new challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely, and if you're looking for guidance on your career path, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help with that too. They can analyze your skills and experience and suggest potential career paths that align with your interests and goals.
That's incredible. It's like having a personal career counselor at your fingertips.
It really is. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the role itself, the key interview questions, and the importance of continuous learning.
And we've highlighted how RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer for anyone looking to succeed in the insurance industry.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to emphasize one more point from the career guide. It's not just about skills and experience, it's also about passion.
Right? This isn't just a job. It's a career that can be both challenging and rewarding.
You're helping people protect what matters most to them, their families, their businesses, their futures.
So as you prepare for your interviews, think about why you're drawn to this field. What excites you about the insurance industry? What impact do you want to make?
Let that passion shine through in your answers, and you'll be sure to impress.
Okay, that's a great note to end on. We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into this fascinating career path.
You know, it's amazing how much that really comes through.
It really does. And speaking of passion, that actually ties into our next question from RoleCatcher's list. How do you prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion in your agency? This one goes beyond just checking boxes. It really gets to the heart of building a truly inclusive and successful team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not just a trend, right? It's about creating a work environment where everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute their best. And interviewers really want to see that you understand this goes beyond just words, it takes action.
So what kind of concrete examples can we share to demonstrate our commitment to DEI?
Um, think about initiatives you've been involved in or would like to implement. Have you been part of a diversity recruitment effort? Do you have experience leading sensitivity training or fostering mentorship programs for underrepresented groups?
Right. Those actions really show you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk.
Exactly. And even if you haven't had the opportunity to lead those kinds of initiatives yet, you can talk about your understanding of DEI best practices and how you would apply them in a management role.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's move on to the final question on RoleCatcher's list, and this one's a bit more introspective. What is your leadership philosophy?
Oh, this is a great one. It gives you the chance to showcase who you are as a leader. It's not about reciting some textbook definition, but rather sharing your authentic beliefs and values.
So how do we strike that balance between being genuine and also aligning with what the company is looking for?
Well, I think it's important to do your research on the company's culture and values. What kind of leadership style do they seem to embrace? Is it collaborative, results-oriented, empathetic? And then think about how your personal leadership philosophy complements their approach.
So, for example, if they emphasize teamwork and innovation, I could talk about my belief in empowering team members to take ownership and contribute their unique perspectives.
Exactly. And you can back that up with specific examples from your past experience, showing how your leadership style has led to positive outcomes.
Okay, so it's about finding that sweet spot where your authentic self intersects with the company's needs.
Precisely. And you know what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you refine your answer to this question by analyzing the company's website and online presence to identify key phrases and themes that resonate with their values.
Wow, that's incredibly helpful. Okay, so we've now covered all 10 of RoleCatcher's interview questions, but I want to take a moment to circle back to the career guide
Yeah.
because there's a section I think is really relevant here.
Sure. What is it?
It talks about the importance of continuous learning and professional development in the insurance industry. It's not enough to just get the job you need to stay ahead of the curve.
Oh, that's so true. The insurance landscape is constantly evolving, with new technologies, regulations, and customer expectations emerging all the time.
So how can someone in an insurance agency manager role stay on top of those changes?
Well, the guide recommends kind of a multi-pronged approach. Attending industry conferences and workshops is a great way to network and learn about emerging trends. Pursuing certifications like the CPCU or CIC demonstrates a commitment to professional growth and expertise.
And let's not forget about just staying informed through industry publications and online resources.
Absolutely. Reading trade journals, following thought leaders on social media, and even listening to podcasts like this one can help you stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, so it's all about being proactive and making continuous learning a part of your professional routine.
Exactly. And it's something you can highlight in your interviews as well. When they ask about your long-term goals, you can talk about your commitment to professional development and your desire to stay at the forefront of the industry.
That shows them you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career.
Precisely. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you identify relevant professional development opportunities based on your current skills and experience. It's like having a personalized career coach right in your pocket.
That's incredible. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, from interview questions to career development. But
Yeah.
before we move on, I wanted to touch on something we haven't really talked about yet. The challenges facing the insurance industry today.
Oh, that's a great point. The industry is kind of at a crossroads, facing a number of disruptions that are forcing companies to rethink their traditional business models.
Like, what are some of the biggest challenges on the horizon?
Well, one of the most pressing challenges is the rise of insurtech or insurance technology. Startups are leveraging artificial intelligence, big data, and mobile platforms to create innovative products and services that are disrupting the traditional insurance value chain.
So established insurance companies are facing competition from these agile, tech-savvy startups.
Exactly, and they need to adapt quickly to stay relevant. Another major challenge is climate change. The increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters is putting a strain on insurers, who are facing rising claims costs and the need to develop new models for assessing risk.
That's a huge issue, and it's only going to become more pressing in the years ahead. What are some other challenges we should be aware of?
Well, cybersecurity is a growing concern for insurers. who are increasingly targets of these sophisticated cyber attacks. Data breaches can be incredibly costly, both in terms of financial losses and reputational damage.
So insurers need to invest heavily in cybersecurity measures to protect their data and their customers.
Absolutely. And finally, there's the challenge of changing customer expectations. Millennials and Gen Z are accustomed to these seamless digital experiences in other areas of their lives, and they expect the same from their insurance providers.
So insurers need to really embrace digital transformation and create user-friendly platforms that meet the needs of today's tech-savvy consumers.
Exactly. These are just a few of the major challenges facing the insurance industry today. And for someone aspiring to be an insurance agency manager, understanding these challenges is crucial.
Right, because you're not just managing a team and selling policies. You're leading an organization through a period of unprecedented change.
Precisely. And it's those who can embrace innovation, adapt to new technologies, and anticipate future trends who will thrive in this evolving landscape.
Okay, that's a lot to think about. But before we get overwhelmed, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a bit more positive. The rewards of a career in insurance.
Yeah, that's a good idea because while the challenges are real, so are the rewards.
Absolutely. So what makes this such a fulfilling and rewarding career path?
Well, for one, you're helping people protect what matters most to them. You're providing peace of mind knowing that their families, their businesses, their dreams are protected against unexpected events.
That's a powerful motivator.
It is, and it's something you can feel good about at the end of the day.
What are some other rewards?
Well, the insurance industry offers a lot of stability. It's an essential service that's always in demand, regardless of economic fluctuations.
That's certainly a plus in today's uncertain world.
It is, and there's also a lot of room for growth and advancement. You can start in an entry-level position and work your way up to management, specializing in a particular area of insurance or even starting your own agency.
So it's a career with a lot of potential.
Absolutely, and it's a career where you can make a real difference in people's lives.
Okay, I think we've painted a pretty comprehensive picture of the insurance industry, both the challenges and the rewards. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I wanted to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI one last time.
Sure, what about it?
We've talked about how it can help you tailor your resume and cover letter, practice your interview answers, and even identify professional development opportunities.
Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful tool.
It is. But what really fascinates me is how it analyzes job descriptions to identify the specific skills and experience that employers are looking for.
Right, it goes beyond just keywords and looks for the underlying meaning and intent behind the job description.
Exactly, and that's where it can really help you stand out from the competition.
Absolutely. By understanding the specific needs of the employer, you can tailor your application and your interview responses to highlight the skills and experiences that are most relevant to that particular role.
It's like having a secret weapon in your job search arsenal.
It really is. Okay, I think we've covered just about everything we can on this topic.
I agree. We've gone deep on the role, the interview process, the industry landscape, and even the power of AI in the job search.
I hope our listeners feel empowered and informed.
Me too. But before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Go for it.
The insurance industry is constantly evolving. New technologies are emerging. Customer expectations are shifting. And the very nature of risk is changing.
That's so true.
So if you're considering a career in insurance, embrace that change. Be curious. Be adaptable. And never stop learning.
That's great advice.
Because it's those who are willing to evolve and innovate who will shape the future of this vital industry.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be leading the charge.
I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Me neither.
Okay, that's it for part 2 of our deep dive into the insurance agency manager role. We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up and share some final thoughts.
Welcome back to our deep dive. You know, we've been talking about what it takes to become an insurance agency manager.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating to explore all the different facets of this career.
It really has. We've covered a lot of ground. The responsibilities, the interview process, industry trends, and even how AI is changing the game.
I really hope our listeners feel like they've got a good handle on things. Me too. But you know, before we wrap up, I wanted to touch on one final thing, something that's come up again and again in our conversation. That human element of insurance.
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, insurance is about people. Protecting what matters most to them, their families, their businesses, their dreams.
Exactly. And as an insurance agency manager, you're not just managing numbers on a spreadsheet. You're leading a team who are helping people through some pretty difficult times.
That's so true. You're building a culture of empathy, where everyone understands the importance of guiding clients through the complexities of risk and insurance.
So it's not just about having that technical knowledge, it's about leadership, emotional intelligence, and that ability to really connect with people.
Exactly. And that's something that AI can't replicate. That human touch is what makes this career so special.
Couldn't agree more.
Mhm.
So as you go into those interviews, remember to showcase your passion for helping people.
Let that passion shine through.
And with that, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the insurance agency manager role.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it helpful, and we wish you the best of luck in your job search.
Remember, preparation is key, so go out there and show them what you've got.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher. It's an amazing tool that can help you land that dream job.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep into the world of work.
We see you on our next deep dive.